just because they're probably ridiculous.
Yeah. But you see, I wanted to see Gwar live, but now I guess the lead singer died.
Yeah.
So it won't be the same.
Yeah, it's not worth it anymore.
No.
Gwar, dude. How weird. I love it.
I had some friends who were going to an MSI concert in Denver, when MSI was still popular, and they were like, "Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Oh, is that the band where the lead singer frequently pees on the audience?" No, I don't want to go to that. I don't want to go to that show at all. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Let me check my watch. Nope, don't want to be urinated on.
Almost positive his name is Jimmy Urine. So I don't want to go to that show.
Jimmy
and apparently
Urine.
they went to the show and they got peed on. So I don't feel bad for them.
Yeah.
But apparently it was way too much pee, so they're pretty sure it was like a prop dick with a tank in it.
How do you know he's not just saving his pee in a tank?
Yeah, I mean, he could just be chugging beers before the concert and just saving up. So he's got that bladder aching pee.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
The after movie pee where you're actually embarrassed for how long it's taking you to pee.
The worst is the front row of class pee. You chugged a Monster before you went to class, and then it's an hour and a half long lecture, and 15 minutes in you're like, I'm gonna die, but I don't want to get up because it's so embarrassing.
I hate the after movie pee because you do kind of some mental math. You're like, okay, I drank a liter. So liter should come out of me. Then it's 2 gallons later. You're like, should I call the hospital?
Right, exactly. Am I literally peeing out my blood? Where is all this water coming from?
Your kidneys are just filtering just everything straight through.
No, and it's always super embarrassing when you step up to a urinal and start peeing, and a dude comes up, stands next to you, pees, and finishes. And leaves, and you're still going strong. You're like,
no, dude, it's worse the other way
here.
around. The worst is when you walk up next to someone and they're already peeing, and you start peeing, and you finish, and you're like, fuck, and you gotta walk away, the walk of shame was yeah, what's up? I got a big manly bladder.
Right.
I don't.
Some premature pemulation.
I've got This is TMI, but I got this. My bladder, I swear to God, is this big. I drink a glass of water. That water I'm drinking right now, I already got to pee. So I'm just gonna hold it on and.
So I will be totally honest. The whole reason I was late tonight is I had to go up and pay a deposit for my tattoo and everything. But I had to run a bunch of errands up in Salt Lake. There's a Whole Foods up there and just a bunch of stuff I had to do. I had to pee an hour before I left work. And I left at 5, and there was rush hour and an accident. So it took me an hour and a half to get to Salt Lake. I finally peed at Whole Foods. So I had to pee at 4. I finally peed at 7:30. It hurt so bad.
Yeah.
Dude, I keep a Gatorade bottle in my car. It's just I just keep it there just in case, man. It's you can just kind of flop it in there and do hope you get some nice stop traffic where you can get it in there and
right.
But it's you gotta adjust because when you're in a full sitting position, it's hard to.
You can't do it.
Yeah, it's hard. You gotta kind of sit up. And,
right.
You driving.
No, what's funny is I've never peed while driving, but it was actually, this is a weird random story, but I'll tell it anyway. My friend Cameron had never been back to Grand Junction. And one Saturday, we just decided that we were going to drive to Junction, and I was going to introduce him to all my friends from Junction. He actually met your family, Ryan, and I took him to Thunder Mountain and everything. But what was so funny is we're pulling in, we had just crossed the Colorado border, and from where I'm at, when you cross the Colorado border, you're basically there, right?
Yeah.
You have 20 minutes left, and you're there, right? So he's like, I've always wanted to pee in a bottle in a moving car. And he's like, I don't even really have to pee, but I'm going to do it anyway. He was fully exposed in my car for 5 minutes trying to pee. He finally did. But then what was funny is he had the classic quintessential Dumb and Dumber thing where he's like, dude, the bottle's 3/4 full and I still need to go. I'm like, dude, you freaking pinch that off because I'm not handing you another bottle.
You can't. Once you start, it stays.
Right. It's not the handing him the bottle part. It's he's got to hand you the full bottle. So it's I'm not going to deal with that. Don't put that in my cup holder. I know you dribbled. Shut up. Yeah, just toss it.
Man, let's be honest. Fine. I don't know if he dribbled, but I hope he did because I hope he can't tuck his whole self inside a 20-ounce Coke bottle.
True.
That's a good point. Yeah. Ooh,
that's a pretty narrow opening.
Was it really cold? Was it in December?
No. It was in I swear it was in September or something like that.
Oh.
I dropped something. I'm not just being retarded.
Look at my head.
Right.
It's a hair podcast.
I need to get a haircut. But look how shiny my hair is. Man,
very
I
shiny.
take good care of that shit.
So Begonia
Condition.
Frutis?
No, actually, I am a firm believer in the, I don't know if you guys have it where you're at. It's a brand called Everyman Jack.
I think I've heard of it, but I don't.
Yeah, I do their shampoo and their body wash. The shampoo is like peppermint and the body wash is cedarwood. Dude, it's all you need in life. Those two things.
I use the brand with the kangaroo on it because it's the cheapest. So I don't care.
I believe
no more
they're very
tears?
politically correct, and that is called Aussie.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I use
Australian
the,
for shampoo.
I use the No More Tears. So when I get home from a bad day, I just shampoo my head.
Awesome.
Ryan, it says no more tears, but you're clearly crying. The bottle's a lie.
I got the Head and Shoulders in my eye.
Sell some blue, damn you!
Right. My dad always used Head and Shoulders, and I swear no shit hurts in your eyes more than Head and Shoulders. That stuff is made of poison. Oh my gosh, I went to visit a friend at work. I used to work for a big chain company that's very much like Best Buy. It's called FYE, For Your Entertainment.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went to visit a friend, and while I was visiting her, she had her lunch. So I just went back into the break room. I used to work for them. Like, she's a really good friend. So I just went back into the break room and chilled. Well, they had this poster that was all about how to behave if you're being robbed, right? But this was the funniest part, right? So whoever wrote this is like a total psychopath, because he's like, even if you think the gun is unloaded, you should still act like it's loaded. And I'm like, okay, I'm with you so far. Like, you don't know. You don't know if that guy has bullets or not.
Sure, got
But
it.
it says,
Good.
even if it's not a real gun, you should still act the same way because it could be a squirt gun filled with acid.
Oh.
That's literally
What?
what like
Is that a
this
thing?
informational post. I don't know, but I want it to be now. I want to be the robber who robs people with a squirt gun full of acid.
But the
What was
acid
that?
won't eat through plastic?
Hey, Ryan, didn't you watch Breaking Bad? It's important. Plastic containers.
No, that wasn't just plastic. That was like a specific type.
Well, right. You just
That was
have
like-
to make your super soaker bladder full of
Just
PvP.
line it with that stuff?
What was the
Exactly.
movie where they put the hot sauce in the squirt gun and would like would I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't know. I only think of Community when he has pepper water. He's like,
Yeah.
pepper and water. It's
That's
so good.
I'm just gonna do the pocket sand
Yeah.
defense technique. Pocket sand.
That also makes me think of, I forget, I know that I've asked you guys this 100 times, but do you guys watch It's Always Sunny?
Yeah.
The wrestling episode when he has the sand, Rickety Cricket is like the Middle Eastern wrestler, and he fills his pockets full of sand, and he keeps blowing sand into all their eyes. And then Frank severs his freaking jugular with a trash can.
God
That
damn
poor
it.
guy, Rickety Cricket.
Cricket, man. He gets himself in some bad situations.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
He gets put in some bad situations.
well, what sucks is that
Sweet.
it's like, yeah, he gets totally shit on, but he kind of deserves it. Like,
Yeah, he's the worst.
all those people in their lives need to learn. Like, even the waitress.
Yeah.
Like, she just needs to learn. Charlie's just gonna stalk her. She needs to move out of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And I love that they're married in real life.
Mhm.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, the
didn't know
waitress.
that.
And,
I found out that two of the main characters are married too. Dee and
Mac.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mac.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until a little while ago either.
yeah, they got married in between two of the seasons. Like, they got married in between the season that he was skinny and then the season where he came back and he was fat.
He's fat. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
And
great.
he's carrying around a trash bag full of chalupas.
Wait, what was the thing he was always like putting on mass? Wasn't that what he said? He's like, I'm putting on mass.
Yeah, he's like, I'm bulking up. I'm putting on mass.
Trash bag full of chalupas.
Dude, can you think of like a grosser food to carry around in bulk than chalupas?
Dude, there's nothing worse than an old chalupa. Like a new chalupa, like a brand new chalupa that you just ordered, best thing in the world. Like I would just snap a newborn's neck for a fresh chalupa. But like for an old chalupa, I wouldn't do anything for it. I don't want that. It's so sad. It's not crispy anymore. It's just
But here's the thing, Anton, I feel like you're being disingenuous to our listening audience. What would you not snap a newborn's neck for?
This is like a weird York peppermint patty.
Right,
game.
exactly. It's the opposite. It's like, no, please stop snapping newborn's necks.
What would you stop doing for a chalupa?
Right.
For fresh chalupa?
It's
It's like
chalupas are good, but I am 100% cheesy gordita crunch, man. Those are the ways to go.
But that's like it's kind of like In-N-Out burgers. Like it's great when it's fresh, but when it's old, it is the most. If it's like 10 minutes old, it's disgusting.
You can ask them, by the way, to make you a cheesy gordita crunch with the Dorito shell on the inside. It's basically heaven. I mean, that's what I imagine. Like you walk up to the pearly gates and God's like, you did a pretty good job. You weren't the worst. Here's a cheesy gordita crunch with a Doritos taco shell in the middle.
Uh-oh.
Oh. See, he's going to that one right now.
No.
Like, that sounds great. I'm out of here.
Yeah, he's like, all right, guys.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was weird because, like, nothing started happening before it just cut out. Like, it was totally normal on my side. But, yeah, I'm totally leaving to go get a cheesy gordita crunch right now. No,
are you driving?
Funny.
No.
There's only, like, 10 experiences in my life that I'm embarrassed to tell other people about because I don't really get embarrassed. Like, whatever, life is life, right? But one of the most embarrassing things that I can't believe I actually did is one night, it was like 11:30 and I was super hungry. So I drove down to the local Taco Bell. I got 3 tacos, soft tacos. Came home, ate 2 of the tacos and passed out on the couch. Sometime in the night, woke up, went to bed, woke up the next morning. It's like 10:30 because it's a Saturday. I walked back out to the front room and the taco's sitting there. There's one more taco. And I was like, do you think Taco Bell tacos are safe to eat after you've left them out unrefrigerated?
Oh, but yeah, I mean, they're safe.
All night?
They're never safe if they're fresh or if they're like 30 days old.
Right. But yeah, so that's the end of the story is I ate the shit out of that taco.
You shame ate it?
Oh, I sure did. And
shame
it was
hunger?
Delicious. It was so good.
Like, bonus taco? Thank you, nighttime John.
Right.
You're looking out for morning John.
The only thing that was bad is the lettuce. Like, night-old lettuce is not... It's not great.
Cheap iceberg beef, like...
beef lettuce.
Beef lettuce.
Dude, who doesn't love beef lettuce?
Yeah.
Lettuce.
Man.
Beef lettuce sounds like something that I would see a picture of on 4chan and not like. Beef lettuce.
I think KFC just got its new product.
Yeah, it sure did. It was funny because this other podcast that I was on, we one of the very, very first things that we ever did is we decided to do product reviews. And it was when Mountain Dew had like the 3 flavors out. It was like the fruit punch and the lime and the whatever the other one was. Whiteout that actually won. Anyways, one of the things we did is the Double Down had just come out, the KFC Double Down.
Oh, yeah.
So we ate Double Downs and then talked about it. Actually not as bad as you'd think. Like, they're fine. They're whatever. But I had a bad experience because mine, like, the very first bite that I bit into, it shot, like, lava hot oil all over me and burned me pretty bad.
I think it was just a, defensive measure. Like an octopus,
Exactly.
With ink. It was just like,
Right.
just gotta get past that.
Stay away from me. Don't eat me.
Yeah. It was a survival.
Cheap Double Downs are really good, though. They're way smaller now, though. They shrunk them.
Right, they're more like a single down.
Yeah. Like a half down.
A diet double down.
Only 1,000 calories.
Yeah. Pseudo privacy stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to start us off with the iOS Google L?
Yeah, talk to us. And tell us a story.
So I'm gonna try to not be a conspiracy dipshit here and like make a bunch of conspiracy theories.
That's okay.
But
I'm pretty sure all 3 of us are kind of conspiracy dipshits, so it's fine.
It's hard because I love conspiracies, and only because I want a conspiracy to be true. Like, nothing is more I don't think anything would be more satisfying than to have like this deeply held conspiracy belief and have everyone tell you that you're a conspiracy dipshit, and then have them be proven wrong and have them be right.
Well, sure, dude. I mean, freaking really frequent news. 5 years ago, someone saying, "Hey, the government's listening to all our phone calls," and you're like, "Oh, you're totally full of shit. There's no way." And then fast forward to now, and it's like, "Oh yeah, no, they have been for years."
Yeah.
So yeah.
So everyone's probably heard about this already, but it started with Apple. Apple came out and they made this like new web page with this new privacy policy, and they said, we know that our users are really concerned about their information being accessed. And specifically, they're worried about it being accessed by the government. We know that that's, people are all up in arms about that. So with iOS 8, we have now added an encryption layer that even we cannot bypass. So without your security pin to log into your phone, we can't get past it. Nobody can get past it. It's completely impenetrable. And because of this, we just do not have the ability to comply with FBI or NSA or any sort of government warrants that's requesting, your GPS data or your, text information or anything that's stored on your phone. And then 2 days later, Google came out and said, hey, we're doing that too. We're on the bandwagon, and Android L will have the exact same feature. So there's kind of this discussion about whether or not, these companies actually care about your piracy, if they actually care about your privacy, and they're doing this because they want to push forward the agenda that privacy is very important and that the government should stay out of our business. And then there's also the argument that they just don't care and they just want to be lazy, and if they can't get the information for the warrants, then they don't have to comply with the warrants, and in turn they don't have to pay people to sift through phone data. And there's hours and hours and hours of work that goes into these, turning this information over. And then the conspiracy, which is where I'm sitting right now, is that this is all a coordinated effort between the government and these companies, and they're saying, hey, you tell everyone that you can't comply with these warrants. We'll come out and have the attorney general and the leader of the FBI say, oh, this is bad news, and this is going to cause all the rapists to rape even more and store all their rape photos.
Right.
And then
the one that they're hitting really hard, right, is pedophiles, where they're like, we'll be totally unable to track pedophiles because we can't get their phone data.
Yep. And that's why I'm suspicious, because they're using the buzzwords. They're talking about pedophiles, they're talking about kidnappings, and they're talking about terrorists. We won't be able to find the kitty diddlers, we won't be able to find the family blower-uppers. So, I don't know, man. They're talking around the issue, and it makes me really think that there's something going on in the background.
Yeah, I'm pretty pessimistic about this stuff, but I call shenanigans on this.
Well, at the very top level first statement, phone companies or companies that build operating systems for phones that come out and say, we are building a security system so complex that even we can't break it, bullshit. I call bullshit immediately. Because you would never build in redundancies that you do not have a backdoor for. You just wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because that's totally illogical and doesn't make any sense when it comes to programming.
And it's only going to cause headaches.
Right.
Yeah. Just imagine just from the development team developing that. How many times do you think that they forgot their passcode while they're working on it, had to start over again? It's just a pain in the ass. You always have fail-safes. There's always a backdoor. There's always a second escape route, and
and how many consumers would totally revolt if you called in and said, hey, I forgot my password, and they're like, oh, sorry, if you forgot it, you just have to buy a new phone or you have to set up a new profile. Everyone would fucking revolt.
And the bigger reason why I don't believe all of this is that both Android and iOS and Microsoft have come out and said that the future is the cloud. Everything's going to be cloud-based. It's not about your hardware anymore. It's not about what's on your phone. It's not about what's on your computer. Everything's going to be either in, SkyDrive, or it's going to be on whatever Apple calls their cloud, or,
iCloud.
whatever. Yeah, iCloud. I should have fucking figured. God damn it.
Right.
This is whatever.
Except for it's not the iWatch.
It's just the watch. Yeah. So it's maybe your phone is encrypted, but every picture you take is automatically uploaded to Instagram and iCloud. So what is it? I don't know. And they also specifically said that we won't be able to get GPS data, but encryption has nothing to do with GPS data. GPS data is live. You can pull the GPS data. I know for sure the FBI could call Sprint and say, hey, we're looking for this person. Right. This is their name, this is their number, pull their GPS data, do remote activation, find that shit, where is it? And you can encrypt the hell out of your phone, but if you got the GPS signal on, they can find you. So
I think either all this is just BS, or they're getting a big kickback.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening.
Well, the NSA has that gigantic data center where they say they've got petabytes of, which is kind of funny, petabytes of data and these redundant storage centers in Utah.
Guess where that data center is?
That's by you.
Utah.
That is super close.
So
super
they've
close
obviously
to me.
got all this fucking fat government money that they're pumping into this. How easy would it have been to say, like, hey, Apple, we know you've already got more money than the government, but what if we give you some of this government money anyways, and you just tell your people that, it's no big deal, and just kind of, grease them up a little bit, we'll slide right in. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Slide right in. Awesome. Yeah, no, I don't know. Like, I mean, there will never be an announcement ever from any operating system that will ever exist in my lifetime where they say, hey, guess what? We're now totally secure. And I say, awesome. I totally trust that.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I don't trust it. I don't trust anything that's connected to the internet. I don't trust, there are some things that I'll just never do. I am actually, really lazy when it comes to internet security. And a lot of places I use my real name. I use my full name. I understand the risks behind that. I understand that there's problems with that. But there are other things that I won't do, like my personal address or my credit card number or I am so, ever since that PlayStation Network had the huge crack where hundreds of people's profiles were lost, I no longer buy stuff on the PlayStation Store. I go to the store, I buy a PlayStation gift card, and then I buy whatever I want. I know that that's ridiculous and conspiracy theorist of me, but I won't do it anymore.
There's a lot of things I won't do either. They basically follow the same logic that Meatloaf did.
God damn it!
What's that?
Could you expand on that?
He would do many things, but he won't do that.
Right. Right.
So he would do anything for love, except for that thing. And I think we all know what that is. Anal sex.
Oh, man. Totally anal.
We do. So, ultimately, the rational part of me wants to say that this is just... Apple is saying this even though it's not true, and they're just trying to garner favor. They want more people to buy their phones, and if people think their phones are safe, then people will buy more phones. And then Google said, well, if they're doing it, then we'll do it because we got to make sure the features are compatible with each other or are similar to each other so people... Competitive, thank you. So that's probably what's going on.
Let's be honest. You want a secure phone? Buy a BlackBerry.
Yeah.
I'll say it. I mean, I don't own a BlackBerry, but if you're super concerned about it, buy a BlackBerry. Just do it.
And
I don't trust any of them. That's why I uploaded all my stuff to Mega Upload, and I know it's in.
Well, that's perfect.
I know it's in the cloud.
Do you know who I would give my social security number?
Kim.com. He won a couple of the Gumball rallies. Anyone who can win that has my vote.
Dude, he's legit. What's funny is, to me, Kim.com is such a comedic character. He's almost like a cartoon character. But when you actually look at his life, that dude's got shit done.
Well, except for, fraud and going to jail.
Right, but he's out now. He's out.
Yeah.
And can you ever say you've really lived if you haven't been to jail at least once?
It's true. I hear it's magical.
It is.
Prison.
You know what movie I feel vindicated people like me for the rest of my life is The Ringer. Did you guys see The Ringer?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I don't think so.
Oh, you should. Find it. Don't get your expectations up. It's total shit, but you should watch it. Johnny Knoxville at his finest, which isn't saying much.
Yeah, I was like,
I think my favorite thing that Johnny Knoxville has ever done is when he was on, I think it was Jay Leno, and he talked about he had someone research his family history, and it turns out that he is the product of really significant incest.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, Johnny Knoxville.
Sense. Yep.
Yeah.
It's weird how old he is now.
I know he's
because when he started Jackass, he was in his early 30s or something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I thought he was mid 20s or something.
Yeah, no, dude, that guy's old.
Yeah, they're getting up there.
And strikingly resilient to injury. Because he's done some idiotic things.
Yeah, I remember in the CKY Jackass stuff, Bam Margera did, he got hurt more often and he complained a lot more.
Yeah.
But Johnny Knoxville did more of the weird painful stuff, the alligator biting his nipple, sort of stuff.
Right.
And it was the more pain he was in, the more hysterical his laughter got.
Yeah. Right. It was almost like a defensive mechanism where he's like, if I laugh, it doesn't hurt. Because they're the one that was the craziest is when he let the guys, I always pronounce the sport wrong, so don't jump on me because I'm not foreign, but it's Jai Alai. or whatever, where the guys wear the huge hooks on their hands and they throw
like
balls.
highlight?
Yeah, it's Jaialai.
I think it's pronounced highlight. I'm probably wrong.
Highlight. Anyway, these guys can freaking throw balls at like 150 miles an hour, and they fill them with fruit.
I
They're
remember
filling them with like grapefruit and oranges and throwing them at Johnny, and he takes one like right in the nuts, and it's just like, oh my, like that's a 150 mile per hour fastball orange in your nuts, like. Yeah.
And then it gets like citrus
crazy.
in the cuts, which is the worst. You know, it's like
at once. Confirmed, new U.S. Army weapon, citrus bullets.
As I always said, why don't we just drop lemons on people? Like, could you imagine like dropping like 200 pounds of lemons from like a mile up in the air on people? It would be the most painful, worst blunt force death ever.
Right. Well, that's one of my favorite things ever. Is for a long time they were researching. Damn it, I forget. It actually had a really cool code name, but. Basically what it is you send a satellite up, and then the satellite has giant steel rods, and all you do is you drop steel rods out of the satellite.
Yeah.
And basically the acceleration is so high that when it hits the ground, it has the force of an atomic bomb, but with none of the radioactive fallout.
It's like something of God, or like the the hand of God, or like something, so it's something like that, but it's like on
God's
the
sex feather. I believe that's what it's called.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's like they get like molten hot too, so like they'll like burn like straight through shit because of the air friction and shit.
Yeah, they basically just like sink down through the core, but they impact so hard that they level like 40 city blocks around it. It's nuts.
Wait, so they're dropping a pipe
steel rocks.
And it takes out a city?
Yeah, basically, because it's a pretty big pipe. Like, it's not just like a little tiny PVC pipe. It's like, think more like a sewer pipe. And it's not hollow.
Like they're tungsten rods.
Right. Tungsten rods. That's what it is. And then all they do is like choose a target, and then they drop it in super, super high atmosphere, like where the ISS is. Mm-hmm. So the ISS falling and gravity pulling. Well, it's actually not in space. It's in near Earth orbit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which I mean, technically it is space. The more you know.
Anyway, all finding is rods from God, which is kind of cool.
Rods from God. Yeah,
rods
it's not
God.
as cool as God's tickle feather.
But, God's rod. Get hit with God's rod.
Yeah.
It's offensive and effective.
Just gravity and heat and everything. By the time it hits the ground, it just freaking wrecks anything. And then the good news is there's not a ton of radioactive fallout. Like. Let's be honest. I know that it's not our podcast job, but we would like to first and foremost apologize to Japan. We really fucked you guys.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
We're real sorry about that.
Yeah, we are. Let's hope it doesn't happen again. But don't tempt us.
However, if the U.S. military would like to sponsor the podcast,
right?
I'm alright with those sweet defense dollars.
Dude,
look us up.
They get enough money, they could easily support us.
Oh, yes. They can just
saying.
Yeah.
Like, did you guys see that graph where it was the U.S. spending on military compared to all other countries? It's like we spend as much as the next 8 countries combined.
Yep.
You know why? America.
Because
that's
all we got left, dude. It's all we got left.
Yeah.
We're not the freest country anymore. We're not the most economically successful country anymore, but we can blow the most shit up the fastest.
I almost
like
feel like
the idea of not being the freest. How do you quantify that?
Well, it's really easy to quantify. Think about there's like civil liberties, technological freedom, reasons.
I mean, ideas, logic. Take that.
Yeah, basically all of Scandinavia is more free than America is.
Yeah, they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
Right, but you realize that that's like saying Montana's free. They do whatever they want in Montana, but that's because there's no one there.
Wow. No.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, not only can they do more stuff...
Canada's more free than us.
But they're also allowed to.
But once again, Canada's population density is like 1 person for 1,000 square miles.
Yeah, but that's not bad.
No, it's great.
Yeah.
For all people like us, that's great. Like, I really want really cool neighbors that I hardly see unless I want to.
I really only want, like, 10 people within, like, several square blocks of me, and I want those people to work at a store where I can buy the things I need to live, and then I want them to blink out of existence after I've before and after I arrive. Like I want them to blink into existence, sell me what I need, and then blink out of existence.
It sounds like you want self-checkout.
Yeah,
That's what it sounds like. Sounds like you just described self-checkout.
I want a store with self-checkout.
No. I'll fix it even more. You want Amazon Green. And I'll be honest, I want Amazon Green. I wish they did it where I was at, because I would use that shit.
You want some fresh direct, is what you
Right, exactly. You know what? I just feel like a grapefruit. Come deliver me a grapefruit right now.
Bring me grapefruit. Feed it to me. I will be in the bath.
Right, exactly. Don't
Doors
look at
open.
my penis.
Yeah. It's inside a Coke bottle.
It's inside a Coke bottle because I have to pee, but I'm not getting out of this bath. It's too warm.
Yeah, it's too warm. And it's 90% pee.
Oh, gross. That's why the shallow end is warmer. I remember hearing that joke like my entire young life.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about just games in general that have scared us the most.
Okay.
So, I'll start off first. This is like the youngest. I don't know how old I was. I was probably... this was like... Nintendo was kind of new. But the Friday the 13th game for Nintendo...
Oh, yeah.
I went over to my uncle and aunt's cousin's house. They either like bought it or rented it. And in the game, you have to go like from house to house and light the fireplace.
Yeah.
That like keeps like Jason away or something like that. But you would like go into random houses and he would be there sometimes.
And you have to fight him.
Yeah, and when he showed up, that scared the shit out of me. Like, granted, I don't know how old I am at this point, but I'm like...
You're young.
Between 5 and 10? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, really, really... Oh, what the fuck?
You're still watching. Awesome.
The door just like flew open. So I should probably let the listeners know that on my other monitor, I'm watching a walkthrough of Silent Hills. As we're talking. Okay, so that movie.
Playable trailer.
There's a bathroom and a flashing light.
You're like noping out of everything.
Fuck. So that probably is the game that scared me the most. Just
and I remember his Jason's appearances are random. Cause like
they're pretty rando, yeah.
The way the game goes is like you're just basically running around Camp Crystal Lake, but then all of a sudden you'll get an alarm, like a warning alarm, and it's saying that like some other kid is in danger, and you have to run to that cabin within a certain amount of time and like try to save the kid. Yep. And there's always a chance that Jason will or will not be there. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Exactly. So I can probably think of others, but someone else should.
So like I never played that one, and I think I got into gaming later than you guys, but the first game that really scared the shit out of me was actually the original Halo. And it wasn't like the original like the first couple missions, but the Flood mission, like the very first one where you like meet the Flood and you're in
the library.
The library, yeah, you're in
Dude,
was that the first or second Halo?
That was the first one.
Is it?
First one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, the Flood's in every Halo. But yeah, no, I remember they did a really good job of like setting up the like creepy atmosphere for the Flood because you don't know what to expect. Like,
yeah, especially the first time you play it, you haven't met them yet. Like you're familiar with the Covenant and you know them really well. But then you're like dropped in this area and you know something creepy is going on, and they set it up perfect because you get to that room where they lock you in, and like you see the doors lock. And then the doors unlock, and you know something is coming through. And oh my god, dude, that scared me shitless. Like me and my friend used to play that all the time. And when we got to there, it's like sleepover, middle of the night. We're the only light in the room is a TV, and we're sitting here just like fucking sweat, like making the controller slip out of our hands.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It was oh man.
I think the first time I can remember getting like actually scared by video games, it was actually Nintendo 64 and it was Resident Evil 2. I never played, like it was years later that I played the original Resident Evil.
Yeah.
But I can remember the things that scare me the most is in the very early game as you're running down a hallway, the first time you see a licker, it just climbs on an outside window and then it's gone. Mm-hmm. And that scared me so bad that I had to turn off the game and like go do something else for a couple hours. And then the same thing, like arms would break through the windows and try to grab you. and that scared me shitless. And then after that, it was actually in my buddy Peter's basement. We were playing Silent Hill 2. And I just remember like, oh man, I was so creeped out, but like both of us were making jokes trying to pretend like we weren't creeped out.
Yeah.
But it was to the point where like we both knew that the other person was because of the level of jokes that were being made, where it's like, oh yeah, this is so dumb. And it's like, oh, okay, so he's scared shitless too.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember the first Resident Evil, I was at a friend's like just like sleepover. There was like, this was in like middle school, and a friend brought over his PlayStation of Resident Evil, and I remember like the opening cutscene was super creepy because it's the zombie who's like eating a dude and turns around.
Right.
That was super creepy, and then the first jump scare, I think it's the first one, is when that like Doberman jumps through the like hallway window at you. That freaked me out. That was creepy.
So that reminds me. I can go even farther back. The first Tomb Raider game I played, and I don't know which Tomb Raider game it was, but it was on Dreamcast, so I'll have to fact check that later. But the first enemies you come across, like you go through like the training and they teach you like how to jump and swim, and there's like this training level with absolutely no enemies, and then you come around a corner and it's like boom, Dobermans, and oh my god, I was like 7 years old and pissed my diaper. It was the worst. Yep.
Yeah, it's funny because as soon as I started talking, I also thought of one that I think might be older. And it's, I went, like, we had one of those weird janky campouts where we were actually just sleeping in our, like, my friend's backyard in a tent, right?
Yep.
But he had run an extension cord out, and it was the original PlayStation, and he was playing the game Parasite Eve.
Oh, yeah.
So I wasn't even playing, and that game scared the shit out of me. Like, that, just the main character Eve was so creepy, and like she mutates all the things that she like mutate all the things.
Yeah, she's
that she
like
comes in contact with.
She's like a mime / like alien thing.
And that like I wasn't even playing, and I remember. So it's funny because Ryan will have a very long, rich history of me having to go home early from sleepovers because I'm scared.
I only have one.
Oh, is that really? Did I only do it once?
Yeah, that's all I remember anyway.
Oh, I remember when for your birthday you rented It, and I remember we started watching It, and the very first time the clown showed up, we all screamed and turned off the TV and like had to run around.
And then
we were like,
then we went back at it. Yeah,
right, exactly.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
The game that scared me the most, it's not old by any means, but I'm going to bring this up all the time because it's my favorite game of all time and probably always will be, but Dead Space scared me the most and always will. That game just made me...
I won't play that shit.
Dude, it's legitimately an amazing game. The people who created that game deserve all the awards because it's so good, but it's so tense, man. I don't think there's anyone who could sit down and play that game all the way through in one sitting without like having to get up and nope out at one point. Like,
yeah,
the whole game is atmosphere. It never relents. Like the second one is pretty good. The third one's terrible, but the first one in particular, it never lets up. And spoiler zone. If you don't want spoilers, turn this off right now.
Right.
I'm going to spoil it for you guys too. The last second of that game is a jump scare. Like you get all the way through, you beat the game, you escaped, you're in your fucking spaceship, leaving, boom, jump scare in the ship. And you're just like, and the credits roll. And it's just like, you're so not ready for it. You're like, you got to the victory. You're done. You got past the scary parts. So you thought.
So what's funny is that, like, Dead Space, I remember, like, I've never been the type of person where jump scares really get me. Like, I don't care. And for most of the game, like, I was playing through it and I was like, this is so cool. Like, and I thought it was awesome. Like, I remember you walk into, and I think I might have mentioned this before, but I don't care. I'll say it again. You walk into that one room where, like, the tram is broken and it's swinging and it's, like, messing up the light, like, where the light is falling in the room, like, shadows keep crossing. And I was just like, holy shit, like the ambiance of this game is so great. And the scariest moment for me was just like the marker itself and wondering like, what the hell is the marker doing to people? You know what I mean? It's like that same Event Horizon scariness where it's like, I know that something is happening, but it's worse not knowing what that something is. Like, how does the marker actually work? And like, that cinematic, I guess it's not even cinematic, it's like kind of a video, but it's in game, where like you walk out and see the marker for the first time, like the actual marker, and I got like super chills where I was just like, oh my gosh. And it's just a freaking, like, it's just a monolith. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's like a statue, and it scared the shit out of me.
This whole time, I've just been picturing like a giant dry erase.
But I think that's why the second one and the third one, I think, besides the third one getting all EA'd and DLC'd and in-game purchasey,
yeah.
But beyond that, the reason the story and the reason why it gets less scary as time goes on is because you learn what's going on. You know, I mean, there's so much mystery in the first one. You have no idea what these things are, why it's happening. You're on this mining ship in the middle of nowhere. Why is all this crazy shit happening? You have this weird monolith. It's, you know, there's so much mystery, and that's what adds to the suspense. But once you start the second game, you know exactly what's going on. So.
Right. And the other thing I'll say is they did really good with, like, you're pretty sure you know what's happened to Isaac's girlfriend, but the reveal is pretty cool. You know what I mean?
God,
like,
it's so good.
Because you don't suspect. At first, you're just like, okay, whatever. And then, like, the more it goes on, you're like, okay, there's something going on here. And then the actual reveal, you're like, holy shit, I can't believe it, you know? It's so good. Ryan, you should definitely play it.
It's
I
really
tried to. I played
it's really
it for
a beautiful
like
love
15
story.
minutes.
It's kind of like The Guy's Notebook, really. I mean, if you want to.
Dude, Notebook's kind of creeped out. The guy like got his first date with her by like telling her that he would kill himself.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah, but it works. You know, tactics, speedrun tactics, new strats. You always got to develop new strats.
Let's see. Ones that always like got me were the like alien based movies.
Yeah.
So I think it was like Alien Resurrection, and then like some of the like AVP games where you're the Marine, and there's like kind of like an alien, like any of those ones where it's like you know something's out there, but you're just going through like hallway after hallway after hallway. Those ones always creep me out.
I was going to say, on GameCube, there was a game called Eternal Darkness, right? And so, Eternal Darkness, it's straight up like a ripoff of Lovecraftian lore, right?
Didn't they make a movie of that?
Eternal Darkness? I don't know. I don't think so. Like, they might have made a movie called Eternal Darkness, but it's not based on the video game for sure. But anyway, it's like very Lovecraftian. It's all about like these three old gods that are all like fighting each other, right? You have to pick your alliance and anyways. But what was cool is they introduced a mechanic that was never before seen. You had a life gauge that showed how much health you had left, but then it also had an insanity gauge that would build up. And if you
that's like amnesia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's the same sort of thing, but the insanity effects once your insanity meter got high were crazy. Like one made it look like your TV was changing channels. Like it would flip through different AV channels and you're like, what the hell? And then it would flash back and your character would actually say something like, whoa, what the hell's going on? You know? And then there are other ones where you would like walk into a new room and your character would just die. Like all of a sudden it would have like a death animation, but then all of a sudden the screen would wipe and you're still alive. Or there would be like a bug flying on the screen, but it's literally on this, like in the game code where it's like buzzing. So you like think there's like flies buzzing around, but they're not real. They're in the game. Like just all sorts of really cool insanity effects that were really, really fun. Ryan, I can still see you looking out of the corner of your eye.
Yeah, so like that Shattered Pictures like kind of put back together.
Oh, so they're finding the pieces.
No, they're not doing anything, I don't think. They've just been walking through all the hallways over and over again.
If they've been doing the thing where they zoom in a little bit, like focus on something, because you have to find the pieces and you focus on them, and then it like puts them into the picture.
Oh, maybe they are doing it then.
So maybe they figured it out. They might know what's going on.
Who are you watching, Ryan?
Jesse Cox.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so they know what's going on. So they start off at the beginning not knowing what's up, and then they they decide they want to do all the endings. So they go and they look it up, and then they come back and do it.
Oh, yeah. There's a part 2 now.
Yeah.
So Doom 3 freaked me out. That was tough for me to get through.
I never finished it.
I remember that was the first game where I realized how important lighting was. The lighting in Doom 3 is brilliant. It really, really is.
The game, not the movie.
Actually, the movie was not good, but for that 5-minute segment where it goes first person and Carl Urban's just shooting all the monsters, it was pretty badass. Like, it took me back to the video game.
Yeah, that was a cool part.
Yep.
For sure.
But,
else.
I mean, obviously, Amnesia and Outlast. Those
Yes.
are recently I played both of those, and I couldn't finish Amnesia. I can't do it, man.
Yeah, I couldn't finish it.
Way too much atmosphere for me. And it's too long, honestly. That's the thing, is that at least Outlast, and I mean, I think you can get through Outlast in a couple hours tops, and you can get through Dead Space in like 3 or 4 hours if you sprint it. Yeah, I mean, if you sprint it, if you know what you're doing, it'll take like days the first time because you keep walking away and watching.
Yeah, I think so. I recently played through Dead Space. It was on sale on PSN, and I bought it. And I think my initial playthrough, it was between like 7 and 8 hours is how long it took me all the way through.
Like a solid day.
Yeah, and I had no idea what I was doing. So it took, I would say I probably did those 7 to 8 hours over like 3 or 4 days, like spread out.
Yep.
And it's good. It's a good length of game.
Fuck.
Yeah. I think Amnesia's like 16 hours long. Like it just goes on and on and on. And on. And
I didn't play through Amnesia, but I played through Machine for Pigs, and I was really disappointed.
That's not even horror, dude. That was a big letdown. I was so excited for that game, and I even bought it. It's in my Steam library, and I just not.
Amnesia?
Yeah.
Machine for Pigs.
Well, and Machine for Pigs, yeah. But Machine for Pigs, it was a whole different. It was a fucking the Chinese Room. Fuck those people. I don't want you to sponsor our podcast, Chinese Room. They're the same guys who did that. The island game.
Dead Island?
No. It was like Escher, like Dear Escher, I think was it called. Did you hear about that? So it's like it's not even a game. It's not even a movie. It's like Amnesia in the fact that you have no weapons, there's no equips, there's nothing. All you can do is move. You got WASD, and that is it. And you can only walk. And like you arrive on this island and you walk around and you find notes and like read about the story. And you're introduced to this backstory. There's no enemies. There's no NPCs. There's no anything. You don't interact with it. All you can do is move. And it's just like everyone was like, "Oh, this is a really deep game, and like you're gonna learn a lot about yourself playing this game." And it's like, no, it's just it's not even a movie. Like there's playable movies, like a fucking a lot of those Naughty Dog games are just playable movies, essentially. But it's not even that. Like I wouldn't watch that movie if it was done well. So fuck Chinese Room.
Oh, see, I was gonna say, for me, like the most blatant example of playable movies is Telltale games. Even though I love them, like the Walking Dead games, the Wolf Among Us games.
Among Us, yeah.
Did you guys ever read Fables, the comics? Because if not, I highly, highly recommend it. It's super good. I like it a lot.
And the Wolf Among Us comics are good too. I mean,
yeah. Well, that's what it's based on, is Fables.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know what they're called. Yeah.
They're called the Fables, and like the lore behind it, they do so good. Like it's really good. I love Fables a lot. Did either of you ever play Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yes.
No, but I watched videos.
See, and I didn't play it, and I want to.
It's more frustrating than anything. I mean, once you get past the initial like kind of, it's not really jump scary. It's more just kind of creepy, but it's mostly just really frustrating because there's the element of time, so you're always fighting against time, and it's just you just get pissed off after a while.
The room is red.
Oh, this is the creepy, the fast wobble walk. Oh, this is the worst, dude. Oh my god. Oh god.
Yeah, there's something just so like disconcerting about it.
Oh no, this isn't the wobble walk. Yeah, this is the fridge. This is the first time you see it. Yeah. Yeah. Bad news.
What was I saying? What was anyone saying?
Nobody was saying anything. We were all enjoying your squeeing. Squee!
What were you just talking about right before this? You were talking about Fables and then
Wolf Among Us.
Right. But it was something else.
Are you sure?
Yeah. One of you guys were saying something.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's.
So
it's just tense, so.
Yeah. Is the goal of that game, like, you're just, like, it's kind of like a high score, like, see how many nights you can get through?
Yeah, basically. It's just survive. And there's an ending, so you can get to the end. But it's very, very difficult. And it's one of those things where you just throw your keyboard out a window before you finish it because you're just so pissed off at the mechanics. The mechanics are just kind of rough. So.
Right. So I know that there are two types of people in the world. The people who were scared by the game Slender and the people who thought it was really lame and stupid. Which type are you guys?
Game Slender? I don't think I know of that.
Oh, really? Oh, well, that's a big deal. It's like kind of a YouTube thing.
Yeah.
But
like Slender Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they made a game called Slender.
Yeah, you're like lost in the forest and you have to find 4 or 5 pieces of paper before he finds you. And like he's like always there and chasing you, and if you look at him he can't move, but if you turn away he can. So it's
just all RNG. I'll be honest, first time I played that game it scared the shit out of me. Now I feel like it's super played out and it's not scary anymore, but like playing that by yourself in a room, like a dark room, it was scary as hell the first time. Yeah.
Okay, I'm seeing some of the gameplay. Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a game for it. I mean, I know about Slender
They've
Man.
actually made like a ton. What was the one that they made with like nicer graphics later? It was called like it still had Slender in the title, but it had a subtitle. And it's same idea, like you're wandering around a forested area that has some buildings and other things, but
a really good horror series is the SCP games, Special Containment Procedure games. Those are pants shitting inducing games for sure.
Right.
Yep.
Containment Breach?
Yeah, SCP.
Yep. And
why do I not know about like any of these?
A lot of them are really YouTube centric. I mean, this is one of those genres that they write games for YouTubers. Like all they want is PewDiePie to pick it up or Markiplier to pick it up, and
because then they'll play through it and jump around and it's funny. But,
yeah, and then people buy it because they're like, oh, it's like on YouTube, dude, now I want to try it, and then they'll probably never play it. But they get YouTubers to drive sales. So
dude, that YouTube money,
that fat YouTube money.
Now the refrigerator's like swinging.
Yeah. And you said you're not listening to audio, right?
No.
Oh, it's so much
more tense with audio.
Oh, God, dude.
Okay, so I'm just going to watch this at work tomorrow instead with audio.
Good call.
Do it.
Good call.
Yep. Yeah, and it's good with audio
also
too because like they're talking about it,
out.
and it's good with audio too because you can hear Jesse and his friends like flipping the fuck out while they're playing, and it makes it even more tense because they're like, oh God.
I love there's like a universal noise that people make when they have that moment where they're like frozen, where it's like. Like their breath gets caught in their throat, and it's awesome. I love that noise. I love it when people make it. Just saying. Yeah, it's almost constipated.
Yep. All right. Well,
that's all I have to say about that. Forrest Gump style.
Yeah, that's all I have to say about that.